Welcome to the podcast that brings you raw, uncut, and unfiltered perspectives about life.
We need to have a conversation, all right?
We got to do better as a people.
Covering relationships, culture, music, and everything in between.
So that our stories in our communities can be heard.
This is Unlatched.
I got a little something for you.
And now your host, DeAndra Cargill.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Unlatched. I am your host, DeAndra Cargill, and thanks for joining me. So today I am going to talk about Miss Carly Russell. I'm also going to talk about missing minorities, and we'll talk about a couple of other things. Happy Friday, everybody. It's been a long week. It's been a very long week for me. For the ones that don't know, Melly is my cousin. He's in trial right now. They're actually trying to come up with the verdict. So this with him is very personal to me. I'm from Gifford, from Vero Beach, Florida, born and raised, same place. I also know the mother of Juvie. So this case is personal and it's a lot going on with it. So has anybody been watching the trial? So they are deliberating now. They couldn't come up with a verdict. It's like a hung jury today. They'll be back in tomorrow. So hopefully they come up with a verdict. It's bittersweet for me. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. Hey, Mina. What's going on, Mina? Hey, T. So yeah, it's been a rough week. So today I am going to have Mr. Big Exclusive with me on the show. So
Who is Mr. Big Exclusive?
you, sir.
That's not me. I don't know who that man is. How you doing?
How are you? I'm
Pretty
good.
good.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Excited to be
How
back.
you think the trial is going?
It's one of those things where I'm torn. I know that's your family, but the scenario and the evidence is kind of crazy when it's presented.
Yeah.
But like they say, innocent until proven guilty, but it's a hell of a circumstance to be in. Like, that is wild.
Yeah.
I feel like he got great attorneys and they did a really good job. And the state kind of hinged their case on cell phones and cell phone records,
Right.
trying to place him at the scene. And to me, that's really kind of, in my opinion, was a bad strategy and really inconclusive. If anything, they should have left that man alone until they had more evidence, because there's still no gun. So I think there's a good chance that he may be found not guilty. But watching, a little bit of the trial today, when the jury came back and said, like, we kind of deadlocked, and the judge asked them to try again, and if they couldn't, he would declare a mistrial, which means he could be at some point rearrested and tried again.
Right.
But I think that's a tragic situation. Two young men lost their lives, and they're trying to say that one of their best friends did it. The thing that really caught me, though, was, and this is the part where I think it's hard for him to get off, and it's the trajectory of the bullets that killed the two young men. And when they constructed that scene and what happened, it was like, those shots and the way they were shot couldn't have come from, a drive-by shooting. And I think that was like the most damning evidence. But his lawyers did a really good job. So
Right.
I don't know. My personal feeling, personally, I just don't know. I just don't know. He seems hella guilty to me, but at the same time, it ain't what you know, it's what you can prove, is what they say.
Right. So it's very personal to me because that's my cousin. And then not only that, I know the mother of Juvie, and I'm a mother myself. So I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. So I'm waiting just like everybody else.
Hey, Reek. Hey, Tiff.
Hey Tiff.
So
So
yeah,
I
that
want to
is
get
crazy.
in. What you say?
It's just a crazy situation.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to jump in and I want to talk about Miss Carly Russell. So I want to start with the clip.
Who is Carly Russell and what is going on with this case? Carly is a 25-year-old woman who lives in Alabama, and this is the timeline of her disappearance. On Thursday, July 13th, she was driving home at night when she called 911 because she said she saw a toddler walking on the side of the highway. Carly stopped to check on the kid and called her family to update them on what was going on. Her family said she asked the kid if it was okay, and then she screamed, dropped the phone, and then that was it. When police showed up, her car and everything was there, but she wasn't there and neither was this kid. For 48 hours, nobody knew where she was, and then police said on Saturday, July 15th, she just walked up to her family's house and she was home. Police aren't giving much info about where Carly was or what happened, but this whole thing is so strange. What do you think about this?
So what do you think about that? Do you think that this was a whole hoax? Do you believe her? Do you believe that she was actually abducted? Or how do you feel about this situation?
I think you should go first with this one because I'm not
Oh,
sure.
with with me, I mean, I don't want to say that she's lying, but there's so many things, like some of the things that she searched, like the day before when she searched Birmingham, tickets from Birmingham to Nashville. She searched whether do you have to pay for an Amber Alert, and just certain things that she searched before her going missing.
Don't forget the
She
movie
also
Taken.
Taken, yeah. She also Googled the movie Taken. Um, I mean, is that just a coincidence? Like, what do you think?
Let me preface what I'm about to say by saying that despite what I'm about to say, please take every alleged abduction of black and brown women and children as seriously as they took Carly's case.
Right.
I'm very pleased that that young woman is alive and well, and that nothing tragic happened to her. Now, with that being said, let me reiterate this. Believe and use every resource from the FBI to the Secret Service to local law enforcement to federal law enforcement to find our missing black and brown women and children. Exhaust every resource to bring them home to their families before something tragic happens. Now, a lot of shit in this Carly Russell situation ain't adding up. And my frustration came in because I reposted it on TikTok. That's where I originally seen the story. And the fact that she just showed up to her house, I had questions. And the fact that people and black women were really upset with me because I had questions. And every time I started the conversation, I said, I am extremely happy that this woman is back home with her family. But she just walked home? How did she get home? Where was she taken? And then they held the press. Now, I had got barbecued. When I say I had got barbecued, I was called misogynistic. I was called a fake prayer. Um, I don't believe black. I just got barbecued for like a day until they had that press conference. And then the chief started to matriculate information out about what she said happened. That a man with orange hair abducted her, put her in the 18-wheeler. Well, did they put her in the cab? Or did he put her in the trailer part? That wasn't specific. I don't know. But somehow she got away. But then they captured her again and put her in the car this time. Took her to a house, stripped her naked, took pictures, but they didn't tie her up because they didn't want to leave bruises. And they fed her cheese crackers. It was a woman this time who fed her cheese crackers, not the man with the orange hair. But she can't remember what that woman looks like. There's no toxicology report saying there's anything in her system. They don't even know if one was taken. I have questions. Again, when she figured her way out, did she call 911? Did she call a fucking Uber? She didn't have her phone.
Right.
Did she go on the side of the road and hitchhike? Was she actually naked? I still have a ton of questions. Now, she could and this the part that kind of threw me off. The family made her unavailable to talk to police. Excuse me, you shut the world down or the United States down, the internet down for 48 hours. Looking
Right.
for you refusing or your family is refusing access to the police. More questions. Now, here's what I will say. If in fact it is proven, because again, the little kid was on the side of the road, the chief said this kid walked with what amounts to six football fields
Football fields. Yep.
as a toddler. I assure you, Kayla or Cameron ain't walking those 6 football fields. I assure you, and they're not toddlers. Now, if this was a hoax and she did this purposely, I think they should arrest her and charge her with every single felony and misdemeanor they can charge her with.
Right.
Now,
So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
Don't
As
come
far
in
as
my inbox. Don't be sitting on this show commenting that I don't like black women or I don't protect black women. But the amount of resources that was used, use those resources for every single case that comes up involving black women and children. But what you won't do is hoax, because it's already hard enough that we're looked at as second-class citizens already. We look at as less than human. They don't take any abduction of our kids and our women seriously already as is. This just makes it harder for them to take the next case seriously. Right. If this is a hoax, prosecute her to the fullest extent of the law. I want the maximum sentence to be levied against this woman. Now, her reasoning, I don't give a shit why she did it. I don't care. I don't care why she did it. The fact that she did it, she needs to be held accountable for what the fuck she did.
Right. I don't know. Even when it comes down to even the 911 call that I was hearing, it just seemed no sense of urgency. Like if you see a child on the side of the road, what would you do?
I'm getting out and getting the child.
Right.
You got to remember when it first hit, everybody was like, we live in a world that's so paranoid. Just say, for instance, all right, I don't want to get out and get the child. I understand that because it can be somebody, but you talking about a child walking on a highway. Right. There's nobody sitting in a bush on a highway waiting to jump out and grab you. I'm grabbing the kid. I'm putting him in the car. We going to the nearest police station to figure it out.
Absolutely.
What we not going to do is I'm not going to drive next to a child for 6 football fields. I don't know.
Yeah. There was no sense of urgency in that phone call. Even when she described the kid with having the shirt and then having on a diaper and just like how calm she was. Like somebody seeing a child on the side of the road, like I probably would have been honking my horn, trying to get other people to stop, jumping out the car, getting the child and getting back in the car, you know? Like, there's no way I would sit there calling 911, driving slowly down the highway. There is no way. And then not only that, like you said, how far she was away from the child, how could she see the child? How could she have seen the child that far?
And it's
Mind you,
too
there were
much.
other cars that were passing. So she was the only one to see the car? I mean, the child?
Right. It's way too much footage out there that doesn't show a child. There are probably in that time 20 to 50 cars that drove by and nobody else saw a child or reported a child.
Right.
And then the day before, you Googling taking Amber Alerts. Do you pay for them? You Googling how to rob the cash register.
Cash
Like, come
register.
on, man. That stuff is not coincidence.
They're trying to give
They're
her
trying to give her the mental illness
She
out.
had a bullshit calculated plan and knew exactly what she was doing.
Now. I don't know who they is, but they need to shut the fuck up. This girl is of sound mind. She Googled a lot of stuff. This to me was pre-calculated and premeditated. Okay.
Right. So the reason why I would say that she has some type of mental issue is because why would you call the police to tell them that it was a toddler on the side of the highway? Okay. I could see if she was tricking just a family member or somebody else, but she called the law. She didn't think that they were coming. You don't think that something is seriously wrong with her to think that the police was not going to come and investigate all of this?
Okay, our resident
And then she's
therapist.
gone, no trace of her, no trace of her, no trace of the kid. Does she have a mental illness? I strongly believe that, but mental illness did not do this. Manipulation did. I think that was what triggered it. Because they were talking about the boyfriend. So allegedly, from what I was reading from different people in Carolina's page, they said that the boyfriend cheated on her with a stripper, allegedly. And she was upset about it. And that's why she acted like she got abducted. I don't understand how that processed in her mind to make her come up with this plan. And that's why I think there is some type of mental issue going on there. But that's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And then even with the boyfriend, they said like, he was putting out stuff on social media talking about finding her and then thanking people after, she came back home. But then all of a sudden, he deleted everything about her on his page. Everything. So at this point, I don't even think he's probably believing her anymore.
Man, listen. I can't give her. She got enough benefit of the doubt from me. Okay, I seriously gave her the minute they denied police access to her, because in my mind, all the details matter because it can prevent it from happening to another black woman if it was true. Why would you ever deny the police access? Right, and she has yet to say anything. So was she this supposed to just blow over? She's supposed to just stay quiet, tuck tail, and go in the corner? Hell no.
Did she think this was gonna get that nigga back?
Hell
no. If anything, he's probably embarrassed more than ever that he was dealing with somebody that would do something like that.
I don't
you would
know
go
what kind
that
of love
far.
they got. I don't want that kind of love. I don't want that kind of sex.
At all times.
I don't want that kind of emotional attachment. I don't want that kind of lick back, get back, or retribution. I'm cool.
Right. Absolutely. And then for her mother and her father to actually have an interview, I know that I don't know. Maybe they're trying to give their daughter the benefit of the doubt, but I wouldn't have had any interviews.
So Reek had a good question. Did she think this would blow up this big? So here's why I think it actually blew up as big as it did.
Absolutely, Mina.
I think it blew up as big as it did because you had that added element of the child. If the child wasn't involved, I don't think it would have got as big because human sex trafficking and human trafficking is huge and very
Absolutely.
dangerous and very much so a reality. But to go as far as to use a child and a toddler at that, now we're talking about child welfare. Because again, you add that element to a child that's in danger walking on a major highway at whatever time of night that was, and then you got the lady screaming on the phone and then nothing. That shit is terrifying. That's a movie script. They say reality is better than fucking fiction, but you think about the psychological part or the psychological things you feel when you hear something about that. A toddler, late night,
Right.
a
Right.
highway, a busy highway, screams, then dead, the phone gone. She's disappeared, wig there, phone there, Apple Watch. All that shit. It's a psychological thriller in our minds. And we live in a cycle where the news is instantaneous. They used to say we have a 24-hour news cycle. Not anymore. It's minute by minute. If shit happen, it goes out into the social media sphere, and true
Right.
or false, people take it and run with it. I dealt with people fucking vilifying me for having questions when I led every statement and every post with, I'm so glad this girl was found safe, but I got questions. Like, where
Right.
was you that you was able to just show? How did you get home? It wasn't a cop car. She didn't have a phone, so it couldn't have been an Uber unless somebody ordered her an Uber from wherever she was at. And that's assuming that she was with somebody she knew and they let her go. But in our minds, these are the abductors, the captives. They didn't chase you and try to hurt you. You didn't have to
When
stop at the
she,
nearest convenience store, poppy store,
right.
gas station, food store, supermarket, or anything to call 911 for help. And when you put all this shit together, this shit is really a movie. So it captivated the nation,
Right.
and it's still captivating the nation because at the end of the day, we still don't have fucking answers. We still don't have answers.
So when she came home, that was a big red flag to me. I feel like she okay, DCF all over this, right? Well, they were, but they don't have any sign of a baby. There's no baby. The wig took me out though, right? She watched the ID channel too much.
Yeah,
So
Reek,
it was a
it's a
big
great movie. That
right.
shit is
So it was a
marvelous.
big red for me. When I heard that she came back home, it was a big red flag for me. Because how many people get abducted and come back and then show up at their front door?
See, that part's not the red flag for me, right?
How many people get kidnapped and are still, and not saying that there are probably still people out there that are alive, but in sex trafficking, in slavery, different things that they could be in. But how many people show up at their front door?
I agree, and I can see why you would say that. It's so strange to me that I need to know how she got home. That's the part that's really sticking in my craw. Because when you get abducted, are they taking you around the corner from your house? Normally, it's a county or a state over. How the fuck did you get back there? Not that you showed up at your front door, but how did you get from wherever you was taken to your front door?
Right.
I don't know. Like that bothers, that part right there bothers me so much. Just because along the way you had to see somebody, or you had to see a bunch of people, or you had to try to get help from somebody and nobody saw you. That girl face was almost, I'm gonna say, and this is huge, 70% of social media posts was about that girl and about that abduction. So everybody seen her face.
Right.
Everybody. Now
Right.
that again, when you talk about, you know what I mean, people, well, there's a thing though, because the images that they used, this is dangerous too. And I bet a lot of people don't think about this, right? a lot of the pictures they used of Carly Russell were like pictures that had filters, makeup, hair. Carly don't look like that every day.
Except for the one circling around without her wig on.
That to me is very dangerous. And I think women ought to take a look at that, right? I think that's super important. And I think that's one detail that we might be overlooking when we start looking at the cases of people that are missing right now. In the day and age that we live in, a lot of the pictures posted to social media are pictures that are heavily influenced by filters and things that alter people's actual features. I think you have to be mindful of that, because at the end of the day, when people are out there looking for you, I'll give you an example. We looking for the person on the right-hand side. If she got abducted and all that shit, is she gonna look like the person on the right-hand side? Especially if her wig was on the ground.
Right.
She gonna look like the one on the left-hand side. Now, I'm not saying embarrass her, because women don't like to be embarrassed. Women are absolutely insane about their looks and how they present. But when your life is on the line, fuck all that shit. Don't go spread this picture around on the right-hand side. Don't go spread that picture. Remember, her wig was on the ground. Show us the one on the left, because the one on the left, I would have walked right past her. I would have walked right. If I'm looking for the one on the right, I'm walking past the one on the left. Don't do that shit no more. Don't do that shit no more. If I get abducted, show the picture of me and how I look every day. Don't be running around showing people the picture on the right-hand side when I don't look like that every day. Hey, Breen, show them the picture on the left. Because I'm telling all y'all who watching right now, if y'all looking for the girl on the right, tell me I'm lying. If the girl on the left walked past you, you wouldn't stop. You keep going.
I kind of could tell it's her. Look at her cheekbones. And look at her teeth, her smile.
DeAndra, let's be serious.
I would be able to tell.
You would be able to tell. You would be able to tell. Let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment. Okay? We're gonna do an experiment, and you're gonna be the subject, okay? You down?
No.
Oh, I figured as much. Ain't no woman down. Can we just say this chick is a fraud and wanted attention and my angry OG back? Yeah. Well, you can say that.
She got all the attention that she wanted, that she didn't want.
So Mina, you mean to tell me if you was looking for the girl on the right, and the girl on the left walked past, you would be able to tell? I would like to know.
They told us that her wig was left behind. So obviously we'd be looking for a woman that looks similar to that, with her hair braided back or at least pulled back. Something that that a wig would be able to, be put on. I can just see her smile, her cheekbones. I would be able to tell.
You think that okay.
I'm not saying that goes for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so fire all the men on the force. Leave it up to the women, because y'all is magic for real.
So, and another reason why I think this is so important is the fact that missing minorities do not get covered in the media at all. And, to her, it was a game. I want to play another clip. Sorry.
You want to play another what?
Clip.
Have you seen that new movie on Lifetime called Black Girl Missing with Garcelle Beauvais?
My daughter has been missing for 16 days.
National is focused on Jessica Russo.
And no one cares about a missing black girl.
I'm an investigative reporter, and I can tell you the data shows there is a disparity in coverage for missing Black women and girls. And the Lifetime movie executive behind this film tells me it's time to change that.
First time I watched the first cut, I cried like 3 times. We don't have in our community a name like Gabby Petito or Natalie Holloway or anything. We just don't have it. And we need to change that.
So what's behind this disparity and how can we fix it? Well, I'm doing my part to change that with our Have You Seen Me series. You can see those reports up right now at WTKR.com/Have You Seen Me.
So
now, Mina,
this
I
is
believe
why
you say you would recognize her because you do hair. But
right.
Mina, all right, I'm go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, and I think that that this is why it's so important, because it's not a joke. Like, we already don't get covered in the media. We already don't get put out there like white people get put out there. Minorities don't get the coverage like white people get when we go missing. So I did some research, and they said roughly every year 34,000 people of color go missing. 34,000 people of color go missing. When do you see us on TV missing?
Never. Question: how many of them come home safe?
I guess none of them came home.
Because
none of them came home. And the thing about it is, most minority children, minority children get classified as runaways. As a result, we don't get an Amber Alert. That's sad, right? Our children.
It's infuriating, is what it is. But it's indicative. And I'm about to go left again, but I put the link in the chat because I want to see if Mina can come in for a minute or two, because I got some questions for her. But it's indicative of how they view us in this country. And the problem I have, y'all know where I'm about to go with this. The problem I have is a lot of you people are to blame for that. All y'all. And what do I mean by that? Y'all to blame. Right. It's not everybody's fault. But for the people who think voting doesn't matter, for the people who think politics is bullshit, for the people who think, oh, I'm just going to vote for the lesser of two evils, when there's people who have, most people, black people, believe there's only Democrat and Republican. They don't know there's other parties that exist, the Green Party, the Tea Party, and a plethora of independents who want to make meaningful change. But because we won't vote and we only believe that it's Republican and Democrat, and most black people are Democratic by birth, and they think, gotta vote Democrat. It's insanity, because it's people out here who want to make meaningful change and can't make that change because we won't go out and vote for them. And the saying has been true when it first came out, whatever year that was, whatever era, that the pen is mightier than the sword. And that's a fact. The pen is mightier than the fucking gun. And the government and white politicians, Florida being the biggest example currently, they've been whooping our ass with this legislation and these pens, and we refuse to recognize that they're killing us with the pen and with legislation. And we refuse to acknowledge the fact that we have the power to get our people that we want elected, who may be persuasive enough to bring some people over to the party lines. I get that a lot of people are disenchanted with the democratic process, but if you are, at least teach your kids how important voting is. Okay? Right. Yeah, Dime, y'all, you. Okay, she doing hair right now. Dime said black people
even like with
against the Democratic Party keeps us dependent on the government. I agree, and it's been a fundamental shift, and it's going to be another fundamental shift as these same parties exist, as ideas change. It's just natural progression of things. I understand, Mina. Thank you.
Even like with the missing minority adults, they're associated with criminal involvement such as gangs and drugs, so they don't look for them. They don't look for them.
That's exact. Well, it's very much in line with the way they report about us. If we riot, we a bunch of thugs and hooligans. If they riot, it's just a bunch of great people, like Trump said, exercising their rights. If y'all want to have
People,
go down
higher ups.
there's this rabbit hole called First Amendment audits, and look at how black people are treated by police, and look at how white people are treated by police. And these are everyday occurrences where these black people aren't doing anything illegal. They're exercising their First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights. And look how they're treated versus how their white counterparts are treated. Because I don't think we have enough real world examples. We say we treat it differently, but that's always in a criminal setting. That's always after the crime allegedly is committed, and we talking about the court system. But look how everyday black Americans are treated exercising their First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights when interacting with police, government officials in public. And then when you see real world examples of us not committing any crimes and we're still treated like shit, hopefully it'll jar something in you to say, hey, listen, this fucked up out here. Another example, it's a viral video floating around right now of two blind men. One blind man is white, another blind man is black. The white blind man got the stick in his hand, he got the glasses on, and he's searching to find his way. And he's reaching out and he's grabbing people's arm. And there's white people, they jump first, see that he's blind, and then accept the fact that he needs help, and they escort him on their way. The black man do the same exact thing. Stick, reach out, them motherfuckers jump, look at him with disdain, and then just keep walking. Fuck you and your blind black ass. We need to see real world examples, because by the time we get those huge sensationalized stories, everybody's desensitized, and now everybody's offering rhetoric and opinions that don't have shit to do with progression at that point. Watch how everyday black people get treated. It's gonna make you want to do something about it. I promise.
Absolutely. You. Absolutely. So, in the media, they call it white woman syndrome because most reporters are white men. They report their white women missing. We don't have any black media like that. And this is why black media is so important. This is why it's important to, support black media so that we can get our stories out there.
Struck a nerve with that one. Because the important thing, number one, white women will always be the damsels in distress of the world.
Right.
Nothing's more protected than lily white women. Now, with that being said, you struck another nerve. Why is black media important? Number one, how information is disseminated through mainstream media is always going to be directed towards white people first and foremost, right? You ever look at, listen, you can go to any fucking state in America and you look at every single news anchor, black or white, they all have that same voice, that same tone, and all the scripts are the exact same, depending on what network you're coming from. This is all controlled by a couple different companies. How information is disseminated is very important because it's the way you understand it. When you have low income and impoverished communities where education isn't the priority or isn't accessible, How you disseminate information is hella important because it's how people receive and comprehend it. So why is Black media important? Because we can disseminate the information in a way that our folks can fucking understand.
Absolutely.
When you get to speaking about elections and electoral colleges, when you get to talk about criminology and science, they're not even going to watch. They're going to tune right out because they don't understand what the fuck is being said.
You're right.
Black networks like the Big Exclusive Network, the HNIC, the Lit Network, We Talk Weekly and their network, and what's the other one? The Black Effects Network. All of that shit is super important because the information that we disseminate to our people, number one, how you deliver it is going to be important, right? Depending on the audience you're speaking to, they're all going to get that information differently. Like there needs to be young people who take a more active role in how the news is reported and how it's delivered. Right. Just like people in our age group need to take a more active role on understanding and disseminating the information and then sending it out to our people in a way that they can understand it. Because a lot of times they just don't understand the information. I'm not calling our people dumb. Please don't misunderstand that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying our people can't comprehend or are stupid or illiterate. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of times when you use words that need to be digested, most people just don't want to. It's the reason why most people don't read any fucking thing anymore. It's why people can get on the internet and say whatever they want in a video and it's taken as law. You ever want to hide something from Black people? Put it in a book. People don't want to read anymore. And that's just not Black people anymore. A lot of people don't want to go find the information. They don't want to open the book and they don't want to read it. And the biggest crime about media nowadays is if it bleeds, it leads. Shocking information tonight out of the Albany section. 3 men shot, 1 dead. 1 25-year-old allegedly is the son of famous rapper Gillie the King. First story out. What's the last positive story you seen on the news and it had to do with some sort of Black or brown success?
Right.
I'm not talking about the old lady living to 115. I'm not talking about the senior center that the local singer came to sing at. I'm talking about real live achievement by Black people. It doesn't exist. I mean, it says, I think Tyler been working on that. Salute to Tyler Perry. The media shows us what they want us to see. It's our job to make sure our people understand it. I agree.
Right. True.
And Reek says, I definitely don't understand half the shit that goes on with politics. I'm pretty well rounded. I definitely need to read more. And see now, again, if we had a show on the Big Exclusive Network that focused on politics,
they can break it down better.
And then you got to understand, a lot of media does a lot of gaslighting, and there's a lot of dog whistles in the message that they delivering on these outlets. You got to be very careful where you digest your information.
Right. Absolutely.
The dogs get more airtime than we do. Yeah. We do not need it to the help from to wait for me to
I'm like, people just like the brown. If I'm missing, I'm like twin.
Okay, so thank you for that, Miss Melanie Dennis. I agree with you. But
I agree too, but it's still not hitting headlines.
You gotta understand, Black Twitter had their biggest shining moment a week or two ago when Kiki's the father of her kid, when Black Twitter, like their biggest, it's like their biggest W in history for Black Twitter was barbecuing that man, feeling some sort of way. I think we need to be careful in the type of stuff that we share and the rhetoric of how Black Twitter is presented. Because if you say
Right.
Black Twitter to me right now, it's a place where people get to cancel people and fake hold people accountable. There's no real change being talked about on Black Twitter or Facebook. And those pockets where that real change is happening is very hard to find. You know why? Because the story about Kiki and her baby daddy or her kid's father was shared more than 2 million times. Hundreds of millions of comments, retweets, likes, and shares. Again, give me a positive message about some sort of change that got that much attention on Black Twitter or Facebook. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Right. I agree. So I want to go ahead and play another
True
clip.
OG.
Black
True
Twitter
OG.
sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Yeah.
Police chief outlined 3 crimes that they believe Carly has committed. That's theft, lying to authorities, and filing a false police report. He says he is shocked that Carly has not been arrested on those charges.
That's what I think happened.
Eric Guster spent years as a criminal defense attorney. He says, like the rest of the country, he was pulled into the Carly Russell case. He says while police didn't come out and say it at the press conference, the message was clear.
She said she was kidnapped and the kidnapping didn't happen. Our citizens are safe. There's not a kidnapper out there. So they use every almost synonym for lie except saying she lied.
He says the search for Carly wasted the time and money of law enforcement and concerned community members. The father of murder victim Anaya Blanchard wrote about it on his Facebook page, saying his wounds had been reopened and it wasn't okay to bring his family into the search.
Imagine going and searching for someone and they're off doing something else and they're never in danger. And you're thinking about saving this person's daughter and yours was not saved. Beyond angry, super livid, that would be me.
Guster says he worries this case could affect future missing persons cases.
It's going to be much more difficult for African American women to be believed, and it may actually decrease the number of actual reports of things because people are already afraid that they won't be believed.
He says right now Carly needs an attorney to advise her on how to respond to police.
If I was Carly's attorney, I would speak for her. I would not allow her to speak to the police because anything she says can and will be used against her. I would speak for her. I would go to the mayor. I would go to the police chief and figure out if there's something we could do. That's what I would do.
Yeah, go to jail. That's what you can do.
Right. Right. There are things that are going on that make me feel embarrassed to be Black. And that's one thing. They already don't take it serious when we come up missing. And then for her to pull a stunt like this, like, it's unbelievable. And people are actually out looking for her. Trying to go on the network. Yeah. So you had spoke about it earlier, and you said that you feel as if she should go to jail. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Let me fix this. We have the power of social media. Disseminate information through our outlets too. We need to realize how much power we have as people. We have forgotten how we mobilize together. We put billions of dollars into the economy. That is power. You're right.
Miss Melanie Dennis, when I say you hit the nail on the head, you hit the nail on the head. We have always underestimated the power of our voices and the power, more importantly, of the money that we inject into this godforsaken economy.
I agree.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for saying that, Miss Dennis. That is very much so a fact and something that we need to adopt. That is the power. If you want to affect change and you want it to happen fast, affect their bottom line.
Yeah.
That's the only reason people ever get in trouble and companies actually fire people is when it affects their bottom line. That's it. As That is true, Angry OG. Another
Right.
nail on the head. Again, how do we fix that? You gotta definitely be the change you want to see. And he ain't excusing nothing.
He sure isn't.
Excusing nothing, okay?
He sure is not.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. But no, I think she definitely needs to be charged. Like she's still not telling law enforcement
I would like to
anything.
have a conversation with Miss Dennis. Honestly, I just needed to say that. I would really love to have a conversation with her. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think she definitely needs to be charged.
Yes.
Definitely.
Not only
Make
should
an
she
example out
listen,
of her ass.
she needs to be charged again if this was a hoax. She hasn't
Right.
spoken. She hasn't spoken to police again. Now, Angry OG from the door was like, man, something rotten. What did he say? Something smell rotten in Denmark. Some phrase he used. He like, man, I don't believe none of this. And I kept saying, nah, bro, hold on. You never know. Like it's, and I'm still thinking, we still need the truth. Okay, they have a timeline, but she's the only person who can fill in the blanks, unless there was an accomplice. And if they get close to that accomplice, that person fitting to tell it all. Okay, that person is going to give up. That person is going to sing like Whitty Hunting. Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was crazy. That, like you said, it's like a movie.
it
It's
is like
unbelievable.
a movie. I mean,
Yeah,
just think about the
definitely.
emotions you felt when you first heard it. Like, wait, a baby? That's how they kidnapping our women? They
Yep.
using the babies now? No. We got to find her. We got to find what baby they use. We got to find out what ring this is. Like, everybody. I'm telling you, I think that was the key part of it, the baby.
Yeah.
If the
That
baby
that was
wasn't
crazy.
involved, I don't think it would have blew up as big as it would have blew up. Because the shit is scary. She says she see a baby. She following the 911 operator like, yo, can you see him? Yada yada. 6 football fields. Then she screams and hang up. What's going on? That's a psychological thriller right there.
Yeah. Even that 911 call, when that came out, I was like, she is too damn calm.
But
Too
before
damn
we heard
calm.
any of that,
Right.
it was very captivating. Right? Because we all started to piece together stories in our head about, wait, is that maybe how? And then, sadly to say, but that person was right. It triggered some people who have family members or kids that are still missing. You imagine how they feel searching and using their resources to find somebody else when theirs was never found?
Right. Or
This is
ever even look
that's
for her like that?
that kind of shit. Like you definitely need to go to jail for that. Because I say all the time,
Absolutely.
people don't understand when they do shit, it has a ripple effect. When you throw a rock in the water and those waves or those ripple waves go out, that's what happens when you make fucked up decisions like this or any decision. You have to realize and take into consideration how far those ripples go out and how many people is going to be affected by that shit. This was a whole nation captivated by this story. They brought in local police, state police, the FBI, and Secret Service to analyze, to use. You know how much the equipment costs for them to probably even turn that shit on? How much they paying the person to use that shit?
Right.
To have the technical know-how? I just didn't believe it from the gun bust. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
True story. Thanks, Sonya. Good to see
Like I
you, Miss
said,
Pam.
it was home.
Yeah, exactly. Read.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like it's a very difficult situation to be in. It's very
It
unfortunate,
definitely is.
and people
And the
need
thing about it
some type
is,
of closure.
we wanted her to come back home. We wanted her to be found safely. But when she showed up, it was like, wait a minute. It was just weird. At her
Who brought you?
door.
Who brought you to the crib?
Right.
I need
Right.
to know the whole case, Lynch. Like, who brought you to the crib?
Right.
That's it for me. I just need to know how you got to the house. Shit. Like,
That's
that is
it.
wild.
That's it. That's it. I don't know. Maybe the cousin, was it the sister-in-law she was on the phone with, I think, that she spoke with, the family member? I
Man,
think her ass was all a part of it. I'm sorry.
her ass need to be down at the police station too, answering questions. What happened? Where'd you get the story? What did she say? What's the timeline? All of that shit. She need to answer some questions too. And I bet you if she is involved, she fitting to sing like Whitney Hutton. I'm telling you, the
Absolutely.
world, like the United States, stood still for this girl.
Yeah. Susan Smith's story when she claimed that a black man carjacked her and stole her two kids.
So
That was a
wait,
white woman, right?
it was, and I think she ended up killing those kids, pushed them in a river, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Or was that the one that was at Disney World with the kids or something like that? I'm trying to remember too.
Family
She
member
should.
can face up. That's conspiracy. That's why she gonna sing, or he or she, whoever it is, gonna sing. That's conspiracy.
Yeah, because
Meaning,
allegedly they had got a call from the Red Roof Inn from her. Allegedly, that's what they're saying on social media. And then like right after that, like she showed up to the house.
hey, listen, cautionary tale when it comes to social media. Please be careful spreading stories on social media.
That's why I say allegedly.
Please be,
Yeah.
please be careful. I wasn't talking to you personally.
Oh.
I'm talking to everybody who can hear me. Be careful about these stories y'all so quick to jump on. Be mindful of those challenges y'all so quick to jump on. Now I know people like to be like, yo, you know, conspiracy theorists are crazy. But some of these challenges and some of these messages and stuff that's being shared on social media can really come back and bite you in the ass. She killed the kids. Yep. The Melanie just confirmed she did. She had a boyfriend who didn't want children. The police questioned all kinds of black men. The story fell apart quickly. Drove him into the water. I remember that. I remember that. Had him still in the car and let the car go in the water. Killed him.
That's horrible. That's
Shit.
mental illness. So I want to go ahead and take the show out, but I want to show a clip because I feel like this is even, well, just as important.
I just feel like y'all priorities is so out of whack. Like, everybody's sitting around here worried about Carly Russell and what she got going on. Baby, pray for that girl to get her some therapy. We need to be figuring out why the hell Florida is trying to completely rewrite black history and make it seem like it was a privilege for our ancestors to endure slavery. That is a bigger fish that we need to be trying to fry. And if Florida gonna keep wilding like this, can we just emancipate ourselves from them? Because they is tripping.
I agree with
I,
that.
as a Floridian, agree. I agree. I definitely agree. Because how did
Florida
slavery
has
benefit?
been governed by Lucifer himself. Ron
You got to remember,
DeSantis.
he wants to be your president.
Ron DeSantis is the most dangerous man in America right now. He is the most dangerous. Listen, some shit people might over exaggerate for clout, for attention, or for clickbait. As a black person, Floridians, I understand you'll be offended by this. Don't fucking go to Florida. I'm not saying all the people are like that. Not all the people believe in Ron DeSantis and his message.
I didn't
There's
vote
still
for him.
some great black people in Florida. But the reason I'm saying that is the same is a key reason we talked about earlier. Do not stimulate their fucking economy. Do not stimulate Florida's economy. It's only going to add to his ammunition when he starts to run for president. Right now, a lot of people that's affected by Ron DeSantis and some of the stuff he's changed and the laws and bills that he's passed are the farmers and the educators. It's like a crime to teach Black history. Certain books are banned in all of Florida. In all of Florida, okay? All of Florida. What I need y'all to understand is I don't say that lightly. Ron DeSantis is the most dangerous man in this country as we speak today.
So we know when it's time to
in,
vote.
still got voted in. I disagree, OG. A lot of stuff in the platform that he ran on was on the heels of Donald Trump, with the support of Donald Trump. He is now no longer associating himself with Donald Trump. He disavowed Trump. Trump's in trouble. He's gotten more and more hard-lined, more and more dangerous with his rhetoric, and he wants to be your president, which means critical race theory and any other Black and brown book, any mention of slavery in the history of Black people from here or Africa will cease to exist in schools. Y'all ready to start teaching y'all kids underground? Or as a matter of fact, are you ready to start homeschooling your kids? And if that's the case, what books you gonna use? Fuck it, teach them from the internet. But guess what? He can effectively, as president, with a lot of help from a Republican Black legislator, get some bans on the internet as well. I'm just saying, pay attention. Google Ron and all these bills he passed. If you're Black or brown, if you're LGBTQIA, if you're a farmer and you still vote for Ron DeSantis, you are effectively voting for your own demise. You are effectively voting against your freedoms and your liberties as an American.
He said this is where the woke come to die. So with the CRT, right, he was making like a big deal out of the CRT, the critical race theory, which is only taught in higher learning, in like law school. And it was only to talk about different laws and stuff that were in place, you know, that keep Black people back, or just different things that, you know, that show that Black people are at a disadvantage. And it was only taught to law students. So he made a big deal making it seem as if this is stuff that was being taught in like elementary, middle school, and high school. Now, this new African American curriculum that came out, he is saying in there, the way that they're wording it is slavery was a benefit to slaves, to African Americans. How was it? That started with Trump. Now he's not with Trump, but still has the same concept to make America great again. Right. Right. Broke away from Trump. He was. He was. Trump helped his ass get voted in. I didn't vote for him. And I advise when he does vote, you know, run for president, everybody needs to come out and vote. Everybody needs to come out and vote. Can you imagine?
I refuse. If the day he's voted in, if he gets elected, I'm out for sure.
Right.
I'm not being subjected by that man and his rule. 4 years? First of all, you know how long it's going to take to correct the country after 4 years, or God forbid, 8 years of him? Ain't no way. Me and my kids is out. Me and Texas. Oh, listen. Miss Dennis, yes. George, yes.
HB 616 vote. Black education in school in August. Many people do not even know the issues. Students that won't vote. Santa said to teach from 1972 on.
the same way Columbus.
Sanchez is full of shit.
You won't even say it. You keep calling that man Sanchez.
So the thing about it, I remember being in elementary school painting like the Mayflower and the different boats and stuff like that for Columbus. And
Making turkeys
like,
with your hand and shit.
yeah, it's like that is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's so crazy? I remember in elementary school, we had a black woman. Her name was Miss Powell. I'll never forget her. And it must have had been an issue back then in school with us, obviously, since we were learning that Columbus discovered America, right? She would take us out and she would teach us Black history lessons, but it was only the Black kids, only the Black kids. And I never really understood, but I understand now. And I am surprised that they even allowed that back then. But I thank God for her.
You're lucky. You're lucky. Sonia, I would love to talk about that one day because you get to see the numbers and the analytics from a very different point of view. We hear a lot of stuff on like when election cycles are in that this percentage didn't vote, and they say which means X amount of time. No, to be able to really get some concrete local numbers, I think will be fascinating, or at least I would be fascinated in that.
Right.
Oh, before we get out of here, Tuesday night, Hook and Reel. If you're in the Philadelphia area, 2401 West Shelton Avenue, 7 p.m. Hosted by famous DJ and his famous karaoke night. Tuesday, co-hosted by the BEN family. I hope to see you guys there. Doesn't matter if you can sing. Don't be embarrassed. I'm going to get up there and sing. And you're going to be surprised at one of the songs I chose to sing, okay? Fuck white children and their feelings. That's
White
how I
children
feel.
feel guilty. I mean, hey, how do you think Black children feel when we're so much behind? How do you think we feel
The audacity
when we look at our
they
communities
don't want little white
and wondering
kids
why
to
we're
be hurt. You know what, Miss
at the end of the
Dennis?
day, I definitely I feel her.
Let me play something before we get. It's under our. This is how I feel about them white children. I'm sorry, DeAndra. I just need to play this right quick to make myself feel better. Then we can get up out of here.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I feel about them white babies and their feelings.
Yeah, fuck those white kids' feelings, okay?
That's
Tell them
what
the
my
damn
student
truth.
said. That's right. That's
Right.
absolutely right. I'm sorry, I just had to get that one off. Like, and don't get me wrong, I don't have issues with white people. I only have issues with racist, bigoted white people.
Same here. Same here. Definitely. Well, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Can you tell the listeners, the ones that don't know, where they can find you?
Every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., the Big Exclusive Podcast, only on the Big Exclusive Network. Salute to everybody part of the Big Exclusive Network. I hope to see all you guys at karaoke night. Got a lot of special things planned, a lot of new shows coming up. We're going to have some serious fun. What she say, y'all? What OTC mean? Off the chain?
Yeah.
I don't know. But thank you, Mina. I appreciate you. Miss Melanie Dennis, I appreciate you. But yeah, Tuesday nights, the Big Exclusive Podcast, myself, Angry OG, and comedian Top Flight, only on the Big Exclusive Network. If you locked into the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Always share the Facebook stream. I appreciate you having me on, DeAndra. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And don't forget, Monday night, we have Melanated Vibrations. Wednesday nights, we have Women Wellness Wednesdays.
Right.
And Thursday nights, we have According to Jim. So
that's right. We got Jimbo. Damn it, I don't have the. Okay. All right. Next time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Yep. Great show. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm your host, DeAndra Cargill. Until next time.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Welcome to the podcast that brings you raw, uncut, and unfiltered perspectives about life.
We need to have a conversation, all right?
We got to do better as